Alright, welcome back guys. This is Top Tractor Mods Part 3, Large Tractors. So basically what I've done, I've got 9 per se on this as it stands. I was going to do a couple honorable mentions, but then I just said screw it and I put them into the entirety. I am going to go through a few of these rather quickly because there's a bunch of bits to it. So, we'll start right off with the Deutz fahr 9 series by blauea, or blauea modding, whatever his name is. I feel bad. But, so basically, 9 series, great tractor. It's got a lot of options. We'll check it out in the mod hub. And as you can see, I have a lot of mods. Alright, series 9. Get your rim color, basic colors, bunch of greens, black, gray, communal. The cool thing about this mod, as you saw in front of you, is that you can have tracks with this as well, which is really cool. So Trelleborg, Michelin, Midas tracks. Your standards, you know, weights, wides, twins, and crawler track in the rear for Trelleborg, and I believe the Michelin as well. Twins all the way around tracks. And then Midas, I don't remember if there's tracks on this one. Yes, there are. So you can technically do the whole rear track thing on any of the combinations of tires, and then the tracks, complete tracks themselves. Design, you can have normal or warrior. Puts the warrior logo on the hood, puts a chrome stripe on, or grating around the exhaust pipe. Beacons, left, right, left only. Or both. You can't do right. Sorry. GPS up on the top, and I believe... Nope, just puts it on top. And then engine setup. The 9290 is 295, the 9310 is 312, the 9340 is 336, and the 9340 tuned is 396, and that's as high as she goes. Which, I mean, still, it's pretty impressive. And then your front wiper, you can either have it on the top or the bottom, depending on what you prefer. So basically, start her up. I love the headlights. I love that whole kind of halo ring. So we got lights, beacons, horn. Got sunroof. It's much like the other one I showed you. Door and window. Inside, nice looking. Everything works. Everything moves. Gauges work. Backlights work. High power. It looks great. It's definitely a favorite. I love the way these things look. Especially the newer ones with that headlight style. They just look mean. Sorry, they just look mean. So that is the Deutz fahr 9 series by blauea. Now we're going to move on to kind of a big combo setup in a second. Next, we've got the Challenger 600D by Nefg modding. Great little tractor. If I remember correctly, you can only open cover spreads these out. Let's go in here real quick. Alright, MT600D, because I do like my Challengers. Configuration is front weights. You can't put a three-point link on the front of this, and the front lifter does not actually attach to this mod, or at least the last time I tried it, it didn't. So this is basically rear 3-point only. Kind of disappointing, but it is what it is, and it's a good mod. So you got row crop, you got lizard, and I'm not going to go through all the options because in doing these large tractors, I have had a few of these mods that they're doing the really slow going through the options, so I'm not going to go through all the options. It'll just take way too long. But basically, trelleborgs, you got wides, you got a slightly wider set than this, and that's what's on the one that I have out. And then you've got a bunch of lizard and Michelin with row crop style and twin row crops and spaced row crops and weights and all that kind of stuff. So and then you can do fenders in the front. Yeah, it's lagging pretty good. And an engine setup, you can go from 240 all the way up to 340. And cover is the rear. You can either have the EU squares, or you can have the American, like, light bar style. And GPS just puts it on the top. I don't believe it puts it in the cab too. Nope, it does. There's a little screen there on the bar. So that's that. And like I said, these are the kind of wides. They look really good. Honestly, my favorite thing about this is there's just not that many challengers in this. I think is, other than the Agco 1000, which I'll show you. I think this is the only other wheeled challenger in the game, modded or otherwise, at least on console. This thing just sounds really good. It's got a lot of good movement in the body and everything. Get your lights, decent lighting, beacons. And that is the Challenger MT600D by Nefg Modding. Like I said, great mod, looks good. Gives you a wheeled Challenger if you're into Challengers. Alright, so next, and these are going to be kind of combined. Basically, you have the MT700, the MT800, and the MT900. Now, these are all by siid modding and BM86 modding. And I'll show you in here. Basically, the reason I love these three is it gives you all three of the challengers with multiple versions of each. Like on the side it says dog. If you go into engine setup, it's got like the different generations. So you move through, and obviously the price goes up, the horsepower goes up, all the way through until you get to like the more current version, as you see there, or almost the current version. So in essence, you can get a much lower horsepower version, like a 300 horsepower, which is still nothing to sniff at, for 147 base. You could do custom stuff with the exhaust. I love that black pipe, just that looks like it's gonna roll some coal. Engine cover. And then wheel setup. The other thing I like about this is you've got your standard wheels. Now, granted, it's not 3D tracks. I don't know if they're going to do it, especially at this point, where, you know, fs19 is coming out in the next few months. They may not go back and do it, but if they do, that'd be awesome. I do love this mod. But basically, you've got your standard, and then you've got your standard width, but stuck out. Whereas in the base game, you've got the regular, or you've got the little skinny ones stuck out. And then you can do the 3 meters row crops out, and then out even further. And then weights and mud flaps. So I mean, not a huge ton of customization, but I mean with the exhaust and the tracks and the track spacing and everything, and then obviously the variation in the addition, if you will. And the same thing with this one. Um, weight bracket in the front. Weight bracket, design. That is the exhaust on this one. Yep, okay, so that's the exhaust. Got a bunch of exhaust options with different tips and all that kind of stuff. Engine covers, just like the other one. There's a couple different ones, I think, in each, yeah. Different combinations and whatnot. And then wheel setups. In this one, you get a couple more. You get the 3 meter, the full-size 3 meter out. The dog version, you know, play on cat. Haha. I like that look for the pulleys and stuff. And then you got the dog 3 meter stuck out. And then you've got one with weights. And that one also stuck out. And then you've got your actual row crop style 3 meter. So a few options there. And then obviously, just like the other one, you go through and you've got my dogs are wrestling. Goes through various horsepowers, all the way from your, whatever it was at the start, 380 to 646, I believe is the high one of the current model design or whatnot. So, like I said, you can get an MT800 that's not full horsepower, but I mean, will still do some damage for quite cheap. And then you could like work your way up and make some money and then upgrade the engine and, you know, that kind of thing. So, and there's even a cancer version, a pink cancer version. So, good on them. And then the latest version, obviously, like I said, goes to 646. Now you're up to that 538,000. But the base model one is 181. So, good stuff. And then, like I said, the MT900. This one's cool because, much like the other one, you got your weights, and you got a bunch of tire configurations, and you've got lizards, so you can run the LSWs if you want. Same thing, exhaust options. Attachers, you can do the quick hitch or 3-point hitch on the back. Engine cover. And then your engine setups. And it does the same exact thing. The nose, you know, it's cheap. It's 245,000. And then it goes all the way up to the newer design at almost 460,000. And then you can add lights and like the reflector bar or the foldable one. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Or you can even do the EU one. So, up to you. But that's why I like these, because it gives you basically the option to start really low with it and then build it up if you want. Plus the fact that you can have spaced full-size tracks, which I have seen in real life. But the in-game ones don't offer you that. So, and of course, like any twin track, you've got amazing handling for a relatively affordable price. Now there's no openable windows. You can open the door, and when you do, the interior light comes on, which is kind of cool. It's a nifty addition. Pedals work, gauges move, all the good stuff. And even the cab, you can see from inside, the cab kind of has a shift to it. Yeah. So, good stuff. And then this big bad boy here. You know, in case you don't feel like running a John Deere or a Case, now you can have a nice big LSW. I can't even think of the word. Articulated tractor, there we go. So, all the things. Alright, so from there, I'm going to transition, because we're doing kind of the track stuff, there's this one. This one, now granted it's not like the other one where there's a cheaper version, but I like the fact that they give you the Challenger and the Fendt version of it as an option. So it's the MT700 series and the MT900 series. And this is by, the mod itself is called the Challenger and Fendt MT by FS Modding and Patrick. And the cool thing about these is it's the new style, like the new nose and everything on them, whereas everything else in the game so far for the tracked ones have been like the old nose style. So you've got the new nose style. You change the main color to anything, and you get like a nice satin on there. It looks really cool. Change your rim color, black it out, or whatever. You get your warning signs, EU only, 3D normal tracks. Now these have 3D tracks, and these actually survived the purge of the 3D track mods back in the day, and I don't know if it's because they designed them themselves or what, but you've got your regular 3D tracks, you've got a spaced 3D tracks. Sorry. And these are really good. They look great. Of course, the wheel in the back's a bit smaller in comparison, because if you keep going, then you get to kind of the regular tracks, and they're not 3D. And then you got the 3mm spaced, or 3 meters spaced, kind of like the in-game one. But the 3D tracks look great. The fact that you can change the color. And then you've got 380 up to 431 horsepower, and you can tint the windows if you want, and beacon lights. And the same thing with the Fendt. The only difference here is you can actually change the roof color too. So you can have, whatever. But all the other options are the same. So I went with a satin green with a black roof and black rims with regular 3D tracks. And then on this one I went with the satin yellow with the space 3D tracks, tinted windows. You can open the rear window or the door. One thing that's kind of weird is the whole mechanical like sound when you're opening them, but they sound good and they look good, especially when rolling. Just look at those tracks move. It's fantastic. Yeah, I was surprised when everything else was being purged. This is one mod that didn't get touched, and I never really mentioned it to anyone because I didn't want to see it go away. Although I haven't deleted it since, so. But yeah, like I said, you got the awesome front setup, good backlighting, good lighting all the way around for that matter. And then the inside looks good. Again, everything works. Yeah. Just, I love the style, love the design, love the tracks. Yeah. And it's powerful. It's not cheap though. Not like these. Alright, so that was a Challenger and Fendt MT by FS Modding and Patrick. Okay, so we're on to the Agco 1000 series by ahran modding, or ahran modding. And the reason I chose that was because of this. In the mod hub, under the Agco 1000 series, it's technically a Fendt, or it starts off as a Fendt, if I can find it. Here we go. Fendt 1000 series. Change all the colors just like you can with any Fendt. You got your Trelleborgs, your Michelins, Midas, Nokian, all your normal options. But then the design, you can actually change the brand. Like, you've got your Fendt, and then you can go Challenger. Change your wheels to something else, match it. And then you can go to Jen's Machinery. And then you're back to Fendt. So whenever you change that though, it changes any color combination you have except for the wheels. So, just so you know. And then you can do fenders and the engine setup 396 all the way up to 517. And as you can see, I put these fancy skinny duals bolted on here on the Challenger version. You do have opening door, opening rear window, and opening vent. Inside looks nice. Like I said, you've got all the blinkers and all the lighting indicators tell you stuff's on. It's a great mod. But I figured I would include this in the Challenger because basically what I have on the board right now, I believe, and I might have missed one, but I believe that's it for Challenger tractor mods in the game, with the exception of two. Both are by JA Modding. One is the dog, and the other one is, I actually have in here. And that's this one, the Challenger Dog 95E. Not a bad mod. But I can only pick so many and I'm already over the limit. So these are kind of the main, like, these are your Challengers. And then of course I grabbed a Fendt version 2 just so you can see it. I mean, it's the same mod. Although I'm running Trelleborgs with the Vario grip wheels. It's kind of cool looking. But yeah, so that is the Agco 1000 series by ahran modding. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. We'll see. Jesus. It's the third third thing I've done today, so my voice is getting kind of hoarse. Alright, so now we are on to Case IH Afs Connect Magnum. Another fantastic mod. This one's by Karl Farms. And he has two different versions in the mod hub. This is the Afs Connect Magnum. The other one, I forget exactly how it's termed. It's like the Magnum series or whatever, but I don't believe it has the floaters on that one. But basically this thing, it sounds amazing. You've got, if you go inside, you have to actually, you don't have to, but you can, open cover. Folds down the steering wheel for you. Let's see. And then you have, oh yeah, L1, R1, left stick right, left stick right and left actually turns your seat. So you can see, and your mirror's a little better, or if you're like looking over your shoulder, it kind of gives you that 3/4 view to keep a better eye. I like that. Then if you L1, R1, right stick left and right, opens your door and the light comes on inside, and then up and down opens your rear window. Okay. And this thing is a monster. Oh yeah, I forgot to go to the store. As you can see, I'm starting to run out of energy. So my apologies. Main color, white, black, silver. Design color is your interior, so you can make that match. Rim color, white, silver, black, and white. So those are your colors. You got your, now I'm not going to go through everything in this. There are a crap ton of wheel configurations, but everything from your base, you got your Michelin, your Midas are your floaters. You can get weights on those. You can get duals, you can get tracks in the rear with tires in the front. You can get tracks in the rear with tires spaced in the front. You can get wide tracks, narrow tracks, space tracks. All variations thereof. I mean, you guys, anybody playing this game knows what they usually can have for options. If you think of it, it probably has it. So just keep that in mind. It would take forever to get through them, plus still got more mods to go through. But beacon lights, a couple different types, different styles, rounded, squared off. Fenders, you can remove the fenders in the front, put them on the back, vice versa, have them both on or off. Attachers is your... Yeah, you can do a quick hitch in the rear, or you can have the regular 3-point. Windows are tinted or not. Guys, no barkins. Light tint, dark tint, regular. Engine setup, 320 horsepower all the way up to 451, so it's definitely powerful. Flashers, it's your standard, your EU, or none. Extra lights, gives you extra lighting around the tractor. Front and rear, I believe. No, looks like just the front. And front attachments, you can have weights up to 1,800 pounds, and you can see the drop. Or you can have a front 3-point. And those are your options for the Connect Magnum. We'll go over here and we'll take a look at this one. This is kind of the wide-stanced full-size tracks. I love this tractor. Sounds good, looks good, got all the options. And even with tracks, you've got awesome articulation. Alright. Next we have the Case IH AFS Connect Stagger series by Karl Farms and KMN Modding. And basically this is the 4 you see before you. A lot of you probably know about this mod, but it comes with 4. So you have basically the Stagger, your standard Stagger, the Stagger narrow frame, the Connect row track, which is basically the narrow frame quad track, and then the quad track itself. Now each of these has a crap ton of options. It has been updated for 3D tracks, as you can see. It does have multiple 3D track styles, which is really cool. Now, basically, obviously, your Staggers are your wheeled versions, and your quad track, road track are your tracked options. I'm not going to go through all the options. I've been having this one especially and the road track have been quite laggy. So basically, I'm just going to kind of give you a rundown. You know, you've got your main color. All 4 of the ones I have out are basically each color here. Your design color is your interior, rim color out of these 4. And then you've got everything from weights, tire options from singles, duals, triples, LSWs, run the gamut. You get the idea. Varying brands, Michelin, Trelleborg, Midas. You can have a toolbox on the front. Let's see if this does it rather quickly. Okay. Front weight carrier, oversize, 1,000 pounds, 2,200, and blade undermount. This is the mount for the blade mod for pushing silage, which came out not too long ago, which is really cool. It either came out or it was an update to this pack. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to figure that out. And then your design, you can have US, EU, rear hitch, quick hitch, or the regular hitch. Windows tinted, couple different versions, stagger, all the way up to 682 non-turbo and turbo. He has both versions, so if you don't like the turbo scream, when you're accelerating, you can do the non-turbo version. And they have basically all the motor versions are horsepowers, non-turbo, and also turbo. So up to you which you want. Beacon lights, no. Right style 2, there's a couple different versions. Cover is... Okay, covers your exhaust. There's a few different options. This is my favorite, the EU one. It just looks badass. The only thing is you cannot get this particular muffler on the quad track. You can get it on the road track, the narrow frame stagger, and this stagger, but you can't get it on the quad track. I'm not quite sure why. But there's the EU, the standard, and then one with a little rain cap that flaps when it's running, I believe. In-cab monitors, get a couple field view. You can kind of see them right there. Let's see if we can see. There you go. Field view. That's another one that pops up over there. It's hard to see. They kind of bounce around, but you can pick different combinations. Lights, standard performance lighting plus, basically extra lights around the top and sides, gives you that kind of like 360 lighting going on, and that's basically it. And like I said, they're all variations of the same. They've got, as you can see in this picture, there's narrows, twin narrows, you've got wides, twin wides, single wides, super wides, LSWs, and then the tracks, it's the same thing. The road track especially, you can have everything from, I think it's like an 18, I don't know what they call it. Basically you can have like a super narrow, like a 3-meter wide track all the way up to like the wide 32-inch, I think is as wide as you can go on the road track. This is the road track. But you can space them way out, whether they be skinny or long. And of course they're more the tall the tall track style, whereas the quad track's more of the low, longer style. But we got 3D tracks on this one. We got 3D tracks on this one. A couple different designs. Looks really good. This thing sounds amazing too. And then this is the regular one. I put some fat. I think they're Midas's. No, Michelin's. And then obviously the LSWs on the full-size stagger right here. So gives you kind of the narrow frame, full-size stagger, quad track, and road track. So yeah, so you don't hear the turbos screaming. The other really cool thing about this, about all 4 of these, but especially the tracked versions, is the tracks not only articulate the body, but they actually move with the terrain too. So they do, like, see how it tilted as it went down? And then the body itself twists when you get higher up, so everything kind of moves as it needs to for traction and to maintain ground contact. So it's really cool. Great mod pack, especially if you want something powerful. You got a big farm, a couple of these things, do everything you need. So yeah, that's that is the AFS Connect Steiger pack by Karl Farms and KMN Modding. Alright, getting on to the last couple because we're running out of time here. This one is, I like this one. It's a large tractor, maxes out at 260, but you can still get a front loader on it. Most of your large tractors you can't get a front loader on. Now granted, 260 horsepower is not a huge amount of horsepower, but it is the 900 Favorit by Smety. Old style favorite, kinda. Any color you want. Rim color, any color on that palette. Design color is the exhaust grid. And then you've got your Trelleborgs, your Nokians, your Michelins, your Midas. Standards, wides, duals, twins, you name it. I don't think it has narrows though. Oh, it does. There you go. You can even have narrows. And the mudguards you can take off, the fender you can take off so you can get it not looking so weird. Attachers, front weights, 3-point. And the engine setup goes 165, your 916's 165, your 920's 200, 924's 240, 926, 260. So yeah, 260 is the highest, and then a front loader attacher. So, I don't know, I just like it. I like the way it looks. Now, the one thing I will say, two things. One, Smety, from the mods I've used of his, he doesn't tend to do opening windows and doors and stuff, which, you know, whatever, that's fine. But he is amazing when it comes to articulation, like extensive articulation. He's done most of the Kloss mods in the mod hub. Actually, I think he's probably done all of them. He's done the Zerion, Zerion 3000, the 4000, the 5000, the Axion 800, the 900, and he also did the original. He also did the original. God, I can't think of it. The one that you can put stuff on the back, the one that they're making as a downloadable content for the new game. If you the pre-order bonus, he made that a mod before they put it into the game, or before they put it into the pre-order bonus. God, I can't think of it. Seriously, it's driving me nuts. Alright. Now, that aside, if you know what I'm talking about, it's the Kloss one. The saddle track. Jesus, finally. The saddle track. Alright, so that is all the mods except for the very last one, and this one is a doozy because if you saw the medium tractor video, this is basically the bigger version of that. And we have the JCB 8330 pack by HR Forst and Fahrzeugbau and Rick Black Label TWD modding. So, same guy, or same guys. Another amazing JCB mod. It's 8330, so it's only got the front steering, but that doesn't really matter because it's spectacular. So we will take a real quick look. And this will be the last mod of the night. And I did not hold any back. There's no honorable mentions. Like I said in the beginning, I just kind of rolled them all together. So main color, everything. Rim color, everything. Design color, everything. Trelleborg, and it's much like the 4220 one that they did that in the last video. They've got basically the same setup for wheels, your extra wides, your super wides, your fat tires everywhere, twins, all kinds of crazy stuff. Even the Nokians are huge. Then you got your Olaf's furs. And then, of course, their preset color schemes. If you want, there is a forest cage if you want. And additional couplings. This is where it gets interesting, because basically you have a rear loader option, a gooseneck option. So just like the last one, you can run a gooseneck on it. And then attachments. And I'll show you what the attachments are afterward. And then nothing. And then your engine setup. This is where it gets crazy. Your 8330 is 348. Your stage 1 is 474. And your stage 2 is 585 horsepower. So you're talking almost quad track level power or almost Challenger MT800 level power out of a fast track. And it goes 43 miles an hour. And it has a gooseneck or a rear loader. I mean, basically, you have the 3 JCBs I put out in this video and the last video, and you can run an entire farm with them, be it big or small. Your fenders, front and rear, you can remove. They are removed, one, because you have an attacher on the back, which takes them off automatically, and the Ollisfers also remove them automatically. So just keep that in mind, and that's it for that. But I will show you, right here we have the gooseneck version, and just like the other one, you've got open right door, open left door, open your rear window, and this one, you could do the sunshade too. So that's that. Now, real quick, the big trick that this thing has is it's also like a Claas. You can rotate the whole cabin and drive it in the opposite direction. So, using that logic, you can have a rear loader, they call it, hooks up to the rear, but now you basically have a rear loader. You run the rear loader, and you drop off whatever you're doing, and then you're like, alright, I don't need the rear loader right now, so I'm going to flip this bitch around, and we're going to go this way. Boom, tickles. And lastly, this guy. It is the platform. This is the one that says attacher. That's what attaches to this. You hook up to it. You got tension belts. And you can fold down the end or put it up. It doesn't have a capacity, I don't believe. And it doesn't tilt. So, but I mean, if you gotta take a pallet or a couple I can't think straight. A pallet or a couple bales or something, you could throw them in the back with another tractor and take them wherever you need. It's nifty. And the cool thing is, I believe when they must have updated it, because I could have sworn when they first put this out, it didn't fit under there with the wide tires. It might not with twins, just so you know. But yeah, so you got like a little transport for your big tractor. And I think that is everything for large tractors. Real quick guys, I almost forgot. This had one more configuration. Basically the Forestry Armor, if you will, Forestry Protection. And with the attacher version back to this, it has one last trick up its sleeve. And that is a Forestry Crane. So now, just like the skidder one, but the difference is this can be detached. So basically you activate crane, and put the feet down, and there we go. And now you can load logs, all that good stuff. Reach out real far, all the good stuff. You know how crane works. But I wanted to throw this in there. I'm gonna do a little logging. It's getting a little jerky. I think it's because I have so many mods out. Game doesn't like it, but yeah, so that is the final configuration, which I almost forgot about. So, thank you guys. I know this one was long, and there was a lot, and I know I skipped over some features, especially when it came to the amount of tires and stuff, but literally, for the most part, if you can imagine it, it was there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you guys on the flip side.